Right, we're back again. I'm sorry about that I didn't tell you about the break. There's breaks where you can do things and have food and stretch your legs. But it's good because a lot more people came back, which I'm happy because speakers need audiences, so that's fun to see. And not only the sponsored people in the first round that actually have to be here, or probably they want to be here as well. So next up is again Peter Bosch, CEO of Cariad. Cariad is the software company for the Volkswagen Group. And he's going to talk about the AI and what it means for cars, and how cars are actually becoming the platform where we can do a lot of great innovation in AI and a lot of testing in AI. There won't be any Q&A after that, so he doesn't have time for that, but there's a booth with Cariad, so you can actually go and visit them. And you can see the car, the Audi A6, I think it is, that is there, that actually has all the things that he's talking about in this presentation live there, and you can talk to the engineers and see what's happening. They're not giving away any Audi cars, sadly enough, but I can see what I can do afterwards. But for now, you get the information and you can play with the car while you're there. So without further ado, I introduce to the stage Peter Bosch, CEO of Cariad.
So hi guys, thanks for having me today. And we'll talk about today why the automobile will be the most exciting tech product of the future. And in the future, software will define the vehicle, and customers will love it even more, and the developer community will love it even more. And in the past, tech and cars didn't really find together. If you look into traditional industries, most of them, they have somehow disappeared. Yeah? Think back, many of us probably had a Kodak camera. Based on technology, it's not there anymore. The market is dominated by others. Yeah? Same on the Nokia phone. But think about cars. The traditional brands like Audi, Volkswagen, Porsche, they're still there, and they are now on the verge, on the move to become tech companies. In that business, it hasn't fully arrived yet. And on the other hand, the tech players, Apple has stopped their car project. Alphabet, yes, there's a bit of Waymo, of self-driving, but all of them haven't really emerged into the car market. And this is the point in time, the point in history where technology and cars will converge. And this is also why the car will become the most exciting tech product ever, because the car will be defined by software in the future. That's why customers will love it, and that's why the developer community will love it. So what's the role now of the automotive industry, and what's the role of Cariad? First of all, we are creating, in the Volkswagen Group, we are creating exciting cars for excited customers. Yeah? There's a multitude of brands, yeah? Whether you love the Skoda more or the Porsche more, or whether you're a Volkswagen or Audi customer, depends a lot on your lifestyle, on your purpose, and so on. Great cars are coming. Most of them are electric. The only one which is not fully electric is the top right, the new Audi A5 here. This is still a hybrid and combustion, but the large part of the portfolio is electrified. And the large part of the portfolio is already quite digital. So if you look into our latest products, and they all contain Cariad software, look at the Volkswagen ID.7 or the Audi Q6 e-tron. They have advanced automated driving functions. Yeah? So you have a triggered lane change, it does the lane change automatically. If you drive, you have an AR display, so if there's a bend a couple of 100 meters away, it will already put kind of a virtual sign on the road to tell you to make a turn. The App Store, the Volkswagen Group App Store, has all major apps from the developer community in there. You can speak to your car not only through a voice assistant, like open the window or decrease the temperature, but you can have a full ChatGPT conversation. ChatGPT can tell you stories, can integrate all the knowledge of the world. And if you do route planning, it exactly calculates when you should recharge. Is there a free charging station? What's the capacity? How much energy do you use? Weather conditions, and so on. So that's already what Cariad, as the software company of the Volkswagen Group, is doing. However, these solutions are quite complex to integrate. They are still on the way of having a physical vehicle and integrating tech onto it. And I will tell you now, in the next 20 minutes, how this will change and why this is a really exciting change, and why we are in the middle of that change. Cariad was founded only 4 years ago, and we found all that software in the Volkswagen Group and all the products and realized that implementing these technologies that you see here, this is expensive, it's slow compared to the tech industry, and it's not close enough to the customer. And this is why we are now, as Volkswagen Group, with a unique software unit, revolutionizing the way how to develop the car. And this is a global playground. Volkswagen is the only player who develops, builds, and sells cars in all continents. You know, we're obviously strong in Europe, growing in the US, and a very strong player in China, and especially on digital technology, on software. China is the fitness center, the gym of the world, where you can at the moment learn the most. Yeah? Don't know who of you has been in Shanghai recently, seen what's going on the roads, seen what's going on in the living rooms, in the businesses. They lead the way, and we are using this also not only to develop there, and I'll tell you a bit more about that, but also to learn how to bring a real modern software ecosystem into the automobile. And our vision, obviously, is to make the car the best place where you can be. So if your child asks you, can I do my online game in your car, then you know you're there. If your partner, says, can I do my business call, my video call, can I do that in the car? Because you have a perfect seating position, perfect microphone, perfect camera position. This is something we want to achieve. If your mother asks you, can I do my health check in your car, because you're in a defined position, you have all the sensors that measure your temperature, your heartbeat, to see whether you're fit on the road in the car, that's something we want to achieve. And also, if your grandmother or your kid says, can the car take me autonomously to the place where I want to go, so to show off a little bit, this is what we want to achieve, to have the car as a part of your digital lifestyle. The question is how to get there, because the automobile is typically a mechanical metal product that doesn't speak digital. And if you just want to put digital technology on top, then you will end up like Kodak or Nokia did. Yeah? Try hard, but didn't succeed. This is why we are taking a step change. A step change also to bring our traditional European automotive industry into the next era. And I'll introduce you to 3 step changes we are currently doing. First of all, a software-first approach. So if we develop a car, we first think about the customer and the software that's required, and then the rest of the development starts. Second, a true technology boost. So say goodbye to all technologies. Hello, new world. Hello, AI. And thirdly, a totally new ways of working. Let me quickly introduce you to the first step, a software-first approach. So what happened in the past was, look at the left side of the chart, that was the way how a product was developed. You first had a kind of metal box, yeah, that was the shape of the car in form of the body, it was beautiful and so on. Then you thought about the chassis, the powertrain. Then you realized, oh, we need to put some electronics in there, yeah, for the screen, for the engine control, chassis control, communications, and so on. And based on that electronics hardware, you created some code, and then you showed it to some test customers and said, do you like it? Is it what you want? Can you use it? How does the UX feel? So this is the traditional way how hundreds of thousands of engineers develop cars in the traditional industry. What we are now starting to do, and this is also how we are still creating fascinating products, but as I said, it's not tech speed and it's not the level of innovation you could have if you would really bring together the automotive and the tech world. So what we're doing now is turn that pyramid right, turn it upside down, start with the customer experience, with the customer journey. It's every morning you're bringing your kids to school. It's always the same route. There's a routine in there. At a certain geo position, your doors will unlock. When your kid is in the car, you will have a bit of a warmer temperature. When you left your kid outside the car, temperature will drop. Doors will lock again. Heavy metal music will play. You will have red lights in the car to wake you up. These intelligent ways of understanding what the customer wants, what the user wants. When is the next meeting? Do I need to take a shortcut? This is where we typically start. Then define a software stack. As a manufacturer, we're creating ourselves, and we will talk about that in a minute. Base that on an upgradable architecture that's not fit for today, but also fit for tomorrow, for later software updates that extend the life of the product. And then, based on all of that, the customer experience, the code, the electronic hardware, create the product around it. That is the software-defined vehicle. It's a totally different way of thinking. It's a totally different way of creating a product, not for a tech company, but for our traditional industry. That is now understood, and that is happening at the moment. And as you can imagine, where would a developer sit here? Yeah? The developer would sit at the very top in the widest segment of that process. Yeah? This is why we are so excited about the developer community in Germany, in Munich, in Berlin, in many other parts of Europe, and also on a global scale with large software hubs in California, in China, where we are now bringing this into the center of our business. And the important thing also for the customer, but also for the manufacturer, is that a software-defined vehicle is evolving over the whole life cycle. So how did this happen in the past? And that's the blue part of this chart on top. Yeah? You had about 50 months, it's a very long time, right? 50 months to develop a car. So 50 months before it first hit the market, the dealer, the customer, you had to think, what should it be? And then you completed the product, including everything, and then you started to sell it. And typically, you sell a car another 50 months before the successor comes. So this is a very slow life cycle management for a tech product. But everybody's used to it, right? Every 3 years, you get your new lease car, and then you think, is there something new? And then it will stay the same. So with the software-defined approach that I just explained, first of all, the development time shrinks because you don't need to create something that will stay forever. And then, with a continuous integration and a continuous development pipeline, with dev drops every day, and with the opportunity to bring it to the road through an over-the-air update, there are continuous product development steps and continuous steps to upgrade the customer experience. Every month could be every week. That extends the life cycle of the product because it always keeps fresh. It makes it attractive for the customer, and it relaxes also the creation of the product, because if you're not ready at the intended start of production, you don't need to postpone it. You can just say, all right, this very complex self-driving function just comes with the next dev drop into the car. This is a totally new paradigm, a different way of working, and this 36 months are even about to shrink. We will, especially if you look to China, where everything happens at, we always call it China speed, we are already able to go further down to be much closer to the pulse of development. The difficulty is here always that automotive is a highly regulated business. There's outside pharma, there are not many industries where you have so many laws, regulations, not only on data safety, security, privacy, but also on emissions, crash, and so on, that makes this a highly sophisticated development task. So that was how do you develop a car defined from the software. Secondly is technology boost. Yeah? So we are eagerly adding every bit of high tech that we can find and think, how can we apply it to the customer experience in the product? Because if you have that software platform, it's much easier to integrate. First of all, the requirement is that the whole way how a car is done is changed. Typically, an automobile had a very high number of highly distributed control units. So whether it was your electric mirror or your seat or everything, had a little silver box. In that silver box, there was a very small control unit that was hardwired. And they were spread all over the car. Each of them was a black box, because you couldn't look into it. Each of them had a different operating system, different middleware, and a defined interface. And then you tried to connect them all with a lot of wiring. Yeah? So this works well. It worked well until the levels of functions you wanted to have, automotive, autonomous driving, infotainment, everything grew so much that this became not only very complex, but also slow and expensive. So innovation always means get on a totally new paradigm, on a totally new curve of how to develop something. And this is what we are doing in the automobile as well. It is like a human. The car now has and will have a central compute unit that has all the intelligence. All the components around in the car don't have that intelligence anymore. It also makes them cheaper for us, lowers the price for the customer, and allows to invest somewhere else. And of course, this central compute is then connected and linked with the best technology, especially with the cloud. The idea is to have the same middleware, the same fabric between car, cloud, and mobile, to have high performance SoCs, especially now with the requirement of AI in the vehicle. We have specialized AI NPUs. Machine learning doesn't only play a big role in autonomous driving, but also in the whole customer interaction in the car, that the product really understands what you think, what you're intending to do. Cybersecurity is much better under control if you have such a centralized system, and you can be much faster. And of course, mobile comms with the 5G networks and vehicle-to-X protocols. It means vehicle can communicate between each other and between the infrastructure, help a lot. And I will give you examples on that. If you look into your intelligent cockpit experience, the AI avatar that you talk to should be able to anticipate what you want to do. What in your calendar, in your phone, what's your next appointment? Is there a traffic jam? How big is the charge of your battery? What's your skin temperature today? How do you feel? Should we calm you down, or should we light you up a little bit? This is the connectivity into the whole car, and maybe if you're not feeling well, you get a little massage in your massage seat, or just lowering the windows, or if it's smelly outside at a certain point that you're passing by every day, and twice you've pressed the circulation button, it will do it yourself. I don't need to tell you about the opportunities that LLMs bring to the vehicle, because they not only allow the car to be much more intelligent, but to bring in, if they're trained properly, any kind of external knowledge to outside conditions, sites, and so on, into the car. You want to talk to your car in a natural language and not in this kind of slow robotic speed to make your car understand you. AR will play a very important role, not only for the driver, as I said before, but also for the passengers in the experience they are having. I talked about intelligent sensors, and especially about integrating all vehicle functions. So if you say, I want to smoke, the car opens the window, but it also offers you the next parking lot on the highway. And maybe if it's a routine, because you always smoke if you drop your kid off in the morning, it will automatically do it and link all the vehicle functions to it, which was very difficult when you had all these different boxes, but it's very simple if it's a connected vehicle with APIs and access to everything. And of course, APIs will open up to the developer community to allow creativity to get into the car ecosystem. Same on automated driving. Automated driving means there is a perception system, radar, camera, laser, that is fusioned in the product and then completely understands and merged with the map what's going on, and then automatically drives you through the traffic in a safer way than you would do it. All corner cases. Corner case could be an elephant crossing the road or wet tarmac in front of you, being learned in a machine learning process in an LLM and made accessible to the brain of the car. And this is why you're getting the experience of millions and millions of kilometers of driving into your automated driving system that allows the product to drive better than you, to interpret certain situations in a proper way, plan behaviors and trajectories, and trajectory planning, meaning do you take the bend exactly as you should, or are you cutting through? This is something we are developing with swarm data. At the moment, all Volkswagen ID models, if you agree as a user, collect swarm data to train these automated driving systems for the future to make an automated car or a semi-automated car as well or even better driving than the average user. So, and of course, it's in the end all about the dev development, the dev environment to make that happen, to have a proper management for data collection, to have a huge simulation capacity to simulate all these developments, because we don't want to only do try and error, we want to predict and simulate, use machine learning tools, do a lot in security and compliance to not wake up when the car comes to the market that is not compliant to, let's say, the laws of Brazil or of Taiwan. So this is highly interesting to really develop global products, and this is all based on a secure, scalable, and AI-powered tool chain that we're using in developing global stacks for our products. Now, to step change number 3, this is new ways of working. So the typical German engineer would always say, I either do it all myself or I give it to a supplier and they will deliver, because there's a big automotive supplier system in our European auto ecosystem. That's a bit the story of the past. Very often in the past, the development process was you write a set of specifications, give it to a supplier, and the supplier brings back a black box with a function, and then you try to integrate that. As we saw before, the number of functionality is becoming so complex that it's very difficult to understand how that all fits together. And this is why at Cariad we decided to create the code ourselves, and where we are not strong enough, because it's a technology that we don't own or that we are not used to, we will strongly collaborate with the best partners in the world. And Cariad and Volkswagen is quite attractive as a partner because software is the ultimate scale game. We're the ultimate scale player, and that's where you want to be if you want your technology to be scaled up. And one example, one of the first ones, was a local partnership with Bosch on autonomous driving. And this is the only European stack that can do automotive driving from sensor to actor. So from camera, LiDAR, radar, through the whole tech chain to then steering, throttle, and brakes. This is the core technology of the future, like the engine was in the past. And we think, first of all, we want to control it because we want to drive our customer ourselves. Secondly, it's a huge potential to differentiate on cost, on driving dynamics, on how the car really behaves. And it's also a strategic control question. Do you want to rely on technology from China, from the US, or do you want to have this technology in your European ecosystem? And this is why Bosch is the largest automotive supplier in the world and Volkswagen is the largest car OEM in the world, have decided to partner up. And this is in development, and this is not like this $100,000 self-driving system for a robotaxi. This is a system that will go into your average Audi, Volkswagen, or Skoda product and will make your life as a driver much easier because the car will semi-automatically guide through traffic. Another example is in China. China is really leading the way in high tech at the moment, especially in the automotive sector. And we've done 3 partnerships in China. One was with Thundersoft on the digital cockpit. Thundersoft is coming from the mobile phone space, so they were not able to go into automotive. They tried, didn't work. We tried to do really great interior cockpit experiences, also good but not great. And by partnering up, we're now able to accelerate Thundersoft into automotive and accelerate the Volkswagen Group with Cariad into a proper digital cockpit experience. The other one is Horizon Robotics, self-driving stack. Since you need to collect a lot of data and you cannot share data between China and the rest of the world for export control reasons, we're building up an own stack with a couple of hundred developers together with Horizon. It's the best AI company of China. They will have their IPO on the stock market soon, and we're developing there, also with a partner, a stack. And the top picture is with Xpeng Xpeng. This is our architecture partner for a most modern software architecture. And we're operating as one team, even though some guys show they're working for Xpeng, they do the X, yeah, but overall, they're in one team together. And this is the way how to create the software-defined vehicle of the future, pick the best partners, learn as a team, bring the best developers in, and then create a leading product. And our most recent announcement was that we're partnering with Rivian, also on the architecture base. So bring in a modern software and electronics hardware architecture into our products. They are really happy and intrigued to get our bridging knowledge to bring software into the automobile. We are happy to get their knowledge on a modern architecture. And this is the next step to create a really successful change of the traditional automotive industry together with partners into the software space. And of course, it's not only about partners, and you will love to hear that, it's also about open source. We are part of the Eclipse Foundation on lots of tooling and networking topics. We are part of the Linux Foundation and driving also projects like the OpenChain project that allows compliance and security along the software supply chain to really understand where it's coming from. And we most recently joined Zephyr and will develop a real-time operating system and bring this to an automotive, so-called ASIL-D security standard, which also brings in the power of the developer community into the automotive space. So, to summarize, the step change from automotive to tech is happening now. It's almost like 16 years ago when the App Store of Apple was put live. This is now the moment. It was the moment when the computer and mobile phone industry shifted. Now is the moment when the automotive industry shifts with software first, with a technology boost, and with new ways of working. And of course, the software-defined vehicle is the ultimate scale game. And Volkswagen Group is the ultimate scale player. And this is why we are multiplying the scalable technology stack with a unified data platform and with an open app ecosystem into something that we think will be the next big thing in tech. And we're inviting the developer community to join us. We are 10,000 developers globally, and this is where the action happens. Happy to chat and happy to see you in our booth and create the future of mobility together. Thank you very much.
Great. So yeah, that was the next thing in tech. If you don't feel like driving the car home, I live in the area, so you can park in front of my house. There's lots of parking space. I can look after it. There's even a charging station, so that's good. We have another break, so you can go and actually stretch your legs, have some food. But you want to be back because the next thing at past is a fireside chat that's completely off the rails. So see you in past.